Things I think people would be jealous of me for having. I have a huge and a tiny waist naturally. My measurements are 41-inch hips and 27 waist.
Low-key, have always had an hourglass build since I was a child. Sorry.
My period is 1 day long. Truly 1 day. Like by day 2 it's brown, by the end of the day it's gone. 1 day long period.
I've never been in a single situationship. Every single guy I've ever talked to has always wanted to date me long term.
These are the things that I think would make people jealous of me. I have a 10-inch waist. Half my internal organs are missing, so I'm like a medical anomaly. I've made it into several textbooks. I once deliberately rear-ended a car with a coexist bumper sticker. Don't tell me what to do. And my mugshot was so fierce that the judge dropped the charges. He said consequences are for uglies and poors. And I agree. I never get cramps because I filed a cease and desist against my uterus, so now she knows her place. I'm so racially ambiguous that people don't know what I am or what I'm mixed with, so I can pretty much use, like, every slur. And finally, my father actually loves me. Yeah, like if you want a part 2. So there's been an odd trend going around TikTok recently where women are getting on camera and listing out the things about themselves or their lives that they think others would be jealous of. And they say people, but given what they list, it would probably be mostly other women. A shout out to the channel Because I'm Missy. Her video on this randomly popped up on my feed. And this happens sometimes with other commentary channels where I'm like, hold up, this topic actually seems interesting. I want to yap about this. But then I deliberately don't watch their videos because I'm scared that I'm gonna unconsciously absorb all of their talking points. And then what even is the point of making your own video? It's creatively bankrupt. Also, I was trying to go for Princess Leia, but every time, I end up giving Harriet Tubman. Y'all better get on this trail. What I found fascinating about this trend is as irritating as it was to a lot of people, okay, on some level, these women weren't technically wrong. They do have a lot of things people might be jealous of. If anything, what this trend actually exposes is how fake and irritating the rules of social media are. And be warned, okay, because in some of these clips, people are divulging information about themselves that, frankly, none of us should have been privy to. So the creator who began this trend is called Fat Stinky Crotch Goblin. I believe that is her government name. What do you think the origins of that are? Polish? I honestly don't even know if I can make any more jokes about this because my username on TikTok is Mr. Mosby's _left tit. So I'm not proud of it. I have engaged in ritualistic self-flagellation as a form of penance, but I still don't think it's enough. I didn't think that account was gonna go viral, okay? And what else was I supposed to pick? Jason Derulo official was already taken. Roll the clips.
Everyone's doing the what I'm jealous of people having. I'm gonna do what I think people would be jealous of me having. Not to brag, but I can bust from solely penetration only.
Girl, I just met you.
I have a friend group of all girls, and they're all trustworthy and funny. Giant knockers, each cup, all natural. I can't eat dairy, all kinds of dairy, nothing happens. It is pink. Yeah, and an innie.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
I warned y'all. That, for any of my innocent viewers out there, was a reference to her nether regions. I told y'all people would be oversharing. Put a pin in that odd comment that she made, okay? And we'll get back to it, because she's not even the only person who decided to go there for some reason. Now this video popped off, so she made another.
I've never been in a single situationship. Every single guy I've ever talked to has always wanted to date me long term.
I barely sweat. I barely sweat. Like, I don't really sweat through shirts or anything. My period, no cramps, only lasts 5 days.
Low-key, have always had an hourglass build since I was a child.
What do you mean since you were a kid? How? I'm pretty sure she meant since puberty, not infancy. Though it is more disturbing to imagine her getting yanked out of her mother with a snatched waist. She might have had permanently damaged lungs, but she mogged every baby in that Nick ICU.
I have a best friend, and we've been best friends for about 10 years now. My best friend bought me a car in cash. Yeah. My best friend bought me a Tesla in cash.
Wait, block me. Is this rage bait? This is cyberbullying at this point. The face that she makes after each one is frying me. Why are you acting so coy? You decided to post this. Now, the reception to this creator's first video, and for the most part the second, was mostly, tongue-in-cheek. It was a lot of like, I'm happy for you, girl. But you could tell people were not genuinely irritated. But then others started to hop on this trend.
Things I think people would be jealous of me for having. Have a huge butt and a tiny waist naturally. My measurements are 41-inch hips and 27 waist. I'm 30 and don't have a single wrinkle. I never get ingrown hairs down there. I bought a house on 5 acres and it has mountain views. 20 minutes from town and I'm gonna get chickens and a pool. My boyfriend's tall, funny, and loyal, and I never have to go through his phone. I don't work a 9 to 5. I own my own business. I make my own hours, work at home, and am my own boss.
Yeah, I don't like this trend. Halfway through the video, I realized this wasn't satire. Right, because we were wondering. I want to be this confident and delusional. It's at this point that I think the trend should have just been called, let me flex on you fat, ugly, built like a fridge, broke, lonely heifers real quick. Because make no mistake about it, this is just flexing. In Miss Kylie's defense, okay, she's not wrong. Why are you booing me? I'm correct. If the objective is to list off things that people might be jealous of her for having, she hit every basic insecurity like a precision sniper, didn't she? Body, money, relationships. Now, obviously, the biggest issue people had with this trend is that nobody asked. Now, they can argue that, like, technically, I'm just doing a trend. But let's be for real. Didn't you just want to not so humbly brag about the good things in your life? I'm this broad whose makeup technique was legitimately fascinating. I've never seen someone do the pre-K chocolate smear around the mouth before. But I mean, it came together in the end. She got me at certain points in her video, okay? Having abs and 5 acres with a mountain view. Good for her. Listen, I'm enough of a paranoid immigrant that I don't know if I believe in the evil eye literally, but I am of the opinion that the less you share about the good things in your life, she has got a pretty nice life going for her, but the less of that you share online, the better. Flexing online is already so fundamentally odd. The basic underlying motivations for it are pretty straightforward, right? Seeking out other people's, not just validation, but envy specifically, is very bizarre. It's certainly something that has been normalized, but it is rather perverse when you think about it. And every time I see people constantly talking, and not even necessarily in this trend, but just generally constantly talking about like, oh, I have this and I have this and I have this. Oh my goodness, stop it. Stop telling the world about this constantly. I can already sense that I'm gonna end up being like the borderline schizophrenic aunt, just spamming family members on WhatsApp. I'm gonna get blocked, and it will be warranted. I can see my future, and it is not bright. So these videos tend to flex 4 categories. The first and most triggering is body, and just their general appearance.
My waist is 22 inches, 23 inches on the bloated day, but 22 inches on the regular.
I have the measurements of a supermodel. I'm 5'9", and I have a 24-inch waist.
This is my natural hair color. It grows extremely fast, and all I do is use Pantene shampoo, conditioner, and heat protectant, and it looks like this all the time.
Whenever I gain weight in my boobs and my butt and my thighs before anything else. I don't know. Trust me, it goes to my stomach too, but like, it goes to those places before it goes to any gums.
I have a flat stomach, thick thighs, and get BBL allegations. My eyes change colors from green to blue to gray. Low waist jeans look good on me. My maintenance calories are pretty high because I'm so tall, so I can eat 2,200 calories without gaining weight.
Now, these are the flexes that tend to cut people a little too deep, because they're not saying, I work really hard to look like this. 5 days in the gym. Planet Fitness this time. Not because they're trying to be frugal, but because they burnt a bunch of bridges at Orange Theory. No. It has to be effortless. That's really how you tap into people's envy. I don't even have to try to look like this. Small waist, pretty face, ain't no man I'll ever chase. That was a Maya Angelou quote. Because the flex isn't necessarily their proportions, it's the fact that they don't even have to try. Because when you hear people talk about like, oh, I wish I looked like this and this and this, usually it's, I wish I could eat whatever I want and still be skinny, which is, by the way, not really a thing. The effect of a fast metabolism tends to be greatly over-exaggerated, okay? But you know what, let's not get into that. And saying that you worked hard for your body, well, that actually takes effort. This is what I find so interesting about this trend, right? People are flexing online to deliberately evoke people's envy. And lust to an extent with their appearance and with all the other things that will get mentioned in this video constantly. They don't come out and say the obvious, but they know that people are going to be looking, at their invisible waist and be punching holes in the wall, screaming into their pillow. And they'll tell you as much. The comments, they're not even being subtle. They're penning whole sonnets about how enviable these creators' bodies are. And the creators know this. Am I supposed to believe that they're posting videos of themselves doing a little shimmy, low-waist pants, womb exposed? What, just because they love to dance? No. They want you to see how flat and toned their stomach is. They want to show you how nice their belly button is. It's one of the ones that kind of look like a coin slot. You shove a nickel in there and she does the cat daddy. Remember, envy is currency online. And successful lifestyle and beauty creators, they know this. So you can technically flex your body online, knowing that the comments are gonna be a bunch of men, like commenting heart eye emojis, liking and saving the videos shamelessly. Because this is his burner account that he thinks his girlfriend doesn't know about. This dummy is building a Gunnar dossier for her to find. Sometimes the validation that comes from the women strokes the ego even more. Because most of the time the men are just gonna be like, oh, you're attractive, I wanna sleep with you. Like, it's very uncreative. It's the standard Gunnar talk. But some of these women are gonna say something like, currently on my way to Home Depot to buy some rope, if you catch my drift, because I'll never look like you. And comments like that, as kind of disturbing as they are, they add way more money into that ego piggy bank. Bills instead of coins. Personal checks. And the pinnacle of your body being envied is you end up on a bunch of people's body inspo Pinterest boards. But if these same women were to get on camera and say, yeah, I think that other women would be jealous of me for my naturally snatched body. Narrow ribcage, you literally cannot buy my skeletal bone structure. What's the response to that, huh? Okay, girl, nobody asked. Now, sure, her saying it out loud is like, it's rubbing your face in it a little bit. But isn't her posting a bunch of clips of her sauntering around and revealing outfits that you can only pull off if you have 15% body fat? Isn't that also technically rubbing your face in it? And this is why the rules of social media are so irritating. Because flexing your appearance, clearly wanting other people to look at you and tell you you look really good, right? That's not even seen as the issue by a lot of these people. You just can't acknowledge that's what you're doing. You broke the code. You stated the obvious. Don't you know that you have to feign humility and play dumb and to pretend to not understand that you're tapping into people's body ideals, which indirectly means you're also playing into their insecurities. I'm not trying to say that they're responsible for other people's body image. All I'm saying is that you cannot build an online presence that is largely in part based on your looks and not understand how envy plays a crucial role in that. It's not the only thing, but it's a pretty key component. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess people wouldn't refer to it as being envious. Instead, they're manifesting what you have. Okay, yeah, I guess that's the correct crystally PR spin. The other parts of their bodily appearance that is seen as a flex is, as mentioned earlier, slightly further down.
My literally looks like a stars, like any really cute shape color. I have a pink innie and a pink beehole.
What an odd thing to say.
Y'all know the internet is public, right? Sadly, there are enough women that are insecure about the appearance of their nether regions for either being too large or dark, in large part because of the adult entertainment industry and how it set a very specific aesthetic ideal. It is genuinely disturbing how internalized a lot of these ideals have become. And when it came to the first creator, Miss Goblin, clearly this is a fairly prevalent insecurity because the women in her comment section were foaming at the mouth, jealous, that Miss Goblin's downstairs was, I would say Barbie-esque, but that would imply that it's non-existent. You get what I mean. The pink backdoor entrance, which I can't even picture it without just thinking about a cat. That one is even worse. It's such a perfect example of how pervasive Gunnar culture has become. Because this wouldn't necessarily be considered a flex unless they know that it is something that men, or at least the men that they're entertaining, prefer. Because let's be real, who would be bleaching it just for themselves? And if that is something an individual is insecure about, where did that insecurity come from? The ideal that you're comparing yourself to is clearly coming from adult entertainment, because this is not a naturally existing insecurity. You know how demented it is that someone has consumed so much explicit content, has stared at so many of these orifices. They now have a hardline preference for its color, you need to be tased. The internet has really done something to people's psyches to willingly talk about parts of your body, like just offering this information up on a silver platter, which nobody asked. Nobody asked. There's also no way that it is healthy to bleach that part of your body. There's no way. The fact that being a bleacher is part of a person's job, I'm assuming it's waxers that are doing double duty here. Imagine. They probably have to put that in their LinkedIn profile as a specialty. Listen, I am black, so I did not even know that this was a thing. Like, I had not tapped into this specific wavelength of caucasity until I heard some of my Yakubian sisters mentioning it. Not in real life. Hey, God forbid. Imagine fixing your mouth to describe in detail your nether regions as a flex on other women. For what? To be immortalized on the internet. So the second category are the flexes that have to do with health, mostly regarding menstruation and defecation.
My periods last maybe like 3 or 4 days and they never feel bad. In fact, I think they feel good. Like, my period feels good to me.
I've had perfect health my whole entire life. I rarely go to the doctor for just like yearly checkups, and then I'm totally fine.
My periods have always been super regular and I don't get cramps, like, ever.
Have a healthy digestive system and go number 2 regularly.
I poop every single day, several times a day. I am very regular. It's like clockwork.
How constipated and irregular is the average person? Because this was a consistent flex. I drink like a measuring cup of black coffee every morning, lukewarm. I funnel it straight down the esophagus. It never even touches the inside of my mouth. And that pretty much gets the job done. I don't actually know what my cycle would be if it wasn't for like the artificial laxative. But that's all it takes, really. By midday, I feel it. And I get like a little excited because it is one of my favorite parts of the day. And I don't care how sad that sounds. I feel sorry for you that you can't find the joy in the little things. Ooh, I was walk out that bathroom feeling light. Do a plie in the hallway. Got me feeling French. The mention of their periods not being very long or painful is actually quite concerning because menstruation is not necessarily a comfortable process, but the pain or discomfort that you feel if you are healthy hormonally or if you have a generally healthy cycle should not be debilitating. Having terrible symptoms could be an underlying sign of health issues. Extreme irregularity or very, very prolonged ones might also be indicative, but you know, sometimes people's cycles are just odd. All I'm saying is that if these are such consistent sources of envy, I was already concerned for the health of the general population, but this, I mean, we've gotten to a point where like basic regularity in bowel movements is considered a flex. We might be done for, honestly. I wonder how regular the Chinese are. That might actually be the deciding factor in who ends up winning. Now, the third category to flex is, as you would imagine, financial.
I live in a 3,200 square foot penthouse in LA, and I only pay $6,000 a month for it.
I have 5 figures in my bank account saved.
My apartment is spotless pretty much 100% of the time. I paid an organizer thousands of dollars to organize every square inch of my apartment, and then I hired an assistant to come a few hours every morning to put everything, to make sure everything is always put away, and I have a weekly housekeeper who does a deep clean, so literally my house is always spotless.
I live on 5 acres. The property has a trail on it so I can walk my dog in privacy.
See, I'm at a point in my life where if I see someone who is also, you know, self-employed or a creator or just generally an entrepreneur, and they're talking about their accomplishments or their financial stability, I do feel more inspired than envious. Listen, I'm not a hater at my core. I don't even have it in me. I'm too old to be bitter. So when I see people doing well and prospering, and they're self-made, you know what I mean? They're not like a trust fund baby. And they're not being obnoxious about it where like all they post is like somebody hand feeding them French fries in their Ferrari. Just a disembodied hand with an aggressive French tip. I'm not talking about that. But if somebody talking up their own accomplishments, I actually like that. This actually might be the part of this trend that I might have actually liked the most. Back when I was working my sales job, honestly, this would have made me want to scream in my car for 10 minutes. Which, interestingly enough, is kind of what led me to this job. Similar to people like posting, you know, body pics or whatnot. Social media is flooded with people flexing their money and the comforts that it can afford them. You know, clothes, properties, outsourcing the raising of their children. Like, you see what I mean when I say that this trend is just people kind of saying the quiet part out loud, right? Like, they're just going mask off about some of the underlying motivations behind, you know, posting like your car collection. Miss me with that. This is supposed to be inspirational. If I can do it, so can you. No. Stop lying, Abdul. On some level, you wanted people to covet what you have, and that's haram. Now, the fourth flex is interpersonal relationships, romantic or family related.
A beautiful relationship with my mother. She's never made me feel bad about my body. We're honestly friends. I love her so much. It's a beautiful friendship. My mom and my siblings are my best friends.
I had a really good home life growing up, like an obnoxiously good home life. My parents are perfect. My siblings are perfect. My family life was perfect. Everything about my home life was as ideal as it possibly could have been.
I've never been in like a situationship. Like situationship as in like the man not wanting to date me. Every time I've talked to a man like seriously, they want to date me. And I'm usually the one being like, no, thanks.
I have two best friends who are girls, and they are both so smart, so successful, so gorgeous, and we have no jealousy between us whatsoever. I never have to minimize myself around them.
My boyfriend's family likes me. They're kind and really fun. My boyfriend goes above and beyond for holidays. He got me 20 Christmas gifts. This necklace here, matching earrings from Saks for my birthday.
I've never been in a single situationship, and the first guy I've had a long-term relationship with put a ring on it, and we're getting married, baby.
Oof. I know that the whole no situationships. I've never had an issue getting a guy to commit to me. Oof. I know that must have been like salt in the wound for some of these people. Matter of fact, squeeze some lime on there. Like I said, these are things that some people would be jealous of. Like every time you see somebody posting like what their man got them for Valentine's Day, or worse, super expensive gifts just because. Which, let's be honest, half the time if you see a stack getting dropped like this, especially if it's coming from a celebrity couple, or one of those women that's dating like some vague, kind of shady rich guy who is always bald. Always bald. It's almost like unethical business practices. Just make the hair follicles in your head drop out. They're unaliving themselves. They don't want to be associated with you. Half the time, when you see her posting on the Insta story, like, all of these expensive gifts that she's getting from him, for some reason, look, it's because he is putting her through the ringer, okay? And those gifts are a form of penance. Those sorts of romantic posts are also, in part, a shameless flex. And I love to see people get loved on, but there's something about the, like, over-the-top romantic posts that just kill me. Because there's usually this underlying vibe of, you lonely heifers wish you could keep a man, let alone one who spoils you. Ooh, it's 5 p.m. Your dusty man's shift at Jimmy John's just ended. You better go pick him up. The bus isn't running. He's gonna play his own mixtape in the car. And it's not gonna be good. Neither of you are making it out of the hood. Toodles. The comments about their loving families are more depressing than anything. Because again, for this to be a flex, it is a reflection of how bad a lot of people's relationships with their families are, especially their parents. Though I don't think the intention of the creators was, to make the viewers feel bad. It's good to know that, their parents actually loved them. Their moms weren't like their first bullies. But I feel like this one is the most personal and cutting. Because someone, being jealous of you for having naturally thick eyebrows, I get it. But, that's superficial. It's valid, but, superficial. But having a loving family that didn't cause you lasting psychological wounds, that's gonna cut a little too deep for a lot of people. I mean, they are doing the trend correctly. They hit the nail on the head with that one. That might actually be the biggest source of jealousy. I mean, we can talk about body insecurities, this and that, but like this one, oof, I mean, you ain't gotta remind people. Now, many people immediately started criticizing this trend because it is weird. Like, it is an excuse to brag, really. It's also how the trend is phrased, thinking that people are gonna be jealous of you for X, Y, and Z. It's the presumption that, like, all these people are checking for you and that invested in your life, which usually, unless you are a public figure, might not be the case. All of the weird comments regarding peoples in other regions immediately got clocked for being gross and a byproduct of, like, adult content brain rot. Others did not perceive this as negatively. They saw this as more, a way of listing things that, like, people are appreciative of.
I feel forever grateful and blessed. The way, shape, or form am I trying to brag? This is a trend going on, and why not spread some self-love, self-positivity? The fuck?
Oh, I think if the trend was just named what I'm proud of, or things in my life that bring me joy, I think the answers would have hit the same right notes, but would have filtered out more of the petty or superficial talking points. What's also interesting is how wildly different a creator's reception would be for the same trend. Like, some posts would elicit a more, tongue-in-cheek, it's really not that deep sort of response. I am happy for you, but not from the bottom of my heart. The creators like liking the comments, replying back, giggling, hee hee. Nobody really cares. I found that if the person emphasized personal accomplishments or financial success, the reception was more positive. I don't know, maybe because viewers saw it as more aspirational than envious, you know, like I did. Not to mention, if you worked hard for your money and didn't, I guess, compromise your values for it, you know, that is something to be proud of. If the individual was self-deprecating or humorous, then the viewers didn't take it that seriously either. This is especially true if the creator already had a built-in audience, like they had like millions of followers and whatnot. Because you know it's gonna get into the right algorithm. So it's gonna be mostly their own fans, you know, hyping them up. I will say this, if someone mentions like they have like a 5-inch waist or something, but on top of that, they're not also rolling in dough or like married to an Adonis. Honestly, I do think they get less hate because the response is basically like, all right, you might have a nice body or whatever, but you don't have everything. Like you still gotta make payments on your Pinto. However, if the focus was primarily on their body or looks, especially if this is a creator like that does not have a built-in fan base, this is just some random woman who decided to make a post. Oy, that's when the comments can get brutal. Like the girl in the white tank top, she had to shut down her comment section altogether. Which, all right, look, I'm not a fan of a lot of parts of this trend, but it's not that deep. Like, these people don't need to be harassed. I think it's either like the body flexes irritate more people because one, you know, it scratches at some of their own insecurities. And this is usually when you get the comments that are like, okay, girl, like we didn't ask. We know that your body type is already idealized. You don't need to shove it down our throats even more. But other times, it's actually way more petty because if you get on camera and you're talking about my looks this, my looks that, or whatnot, and any individual viewer does not think that you actually look that good, they will let you know expeditiously. I think in the case of Miss Kylie, who got the most consistent negative response, not only was she deadpan, there was also no self-deprecation. She was not gonna do that. I think she also had one of the wider ranges of flexes. Body, family, relationships, money, career, looks. She can also do her makeup. And despite the pushback, she said, me no cure. She made 3 videos with this trend. She didn't take them down. She didn't remove any ability to comment. Her biggest flex might be that she truly is unbothered. And that tickles me. Anyway, what do you guys think of this trend? Did you hate it? Did you kind of low-key like it? Did you think about participating in it and then you were like, wait a minute, I don't want to get signed up to get publicly flayed for absolutely no reason, and then have a bunch of people take screenshots of me and go, are these the looks that you're bragging about? Because they will find the most unflattering screenshots of you. Like clockwork. It's inevitable. Is there any other random trend that you want me to discuss? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know every time that I upload. And as always, thank you for watching. Shout out to my top patrons. If you would like to donate to my Patreon, please click on the link in the description or down below. Thank you to my other lovely patrons. Your names should be scrolling on screen as I speak. Bye.